Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining our Angel Award webinar to help you make sure that you are creating the best nomination possible for our 2026 Angel Award selection. My name is Chloe Wiley. I am the program officer at the Louisiana Blue Foundation, and I am the project lead for the Angel Awards. And we are just very grateful that you took time out today to learn a little bit more about how our angels are selected and how we can help you make the best nomination possible. I'm also joined with my colleague, Katie. She's on the call as well, Katie Bergeron, and she's going to be helping us as we move along. Just a couple of quick reminders. This is being recorded, so we will be able to post this along with all the materials that we share throughout the webinar afterwards, and you'll get a copy in the chat and also in your inbox. So in terms of the agenda today, we are going to first look through the scoring criteria and helpful resources for Angel Award nomination forms. We're going to let you look at an exemplar Angel Award nomination so that you have a clear idea and understanding of what we're looking for. And then we're going to open it up to question and answer. So feel free to utilize the chat as we go along to drop in any questions that come up to make sure that we're addressing all of your needs. And then we'll wrap up with key next steps and a quick little feedback survey to help us make sure that all of your questions are answered. First, let's just start with angels by the numbers. So we have a couple numbers on the screen here. Last year, we had 200 Angel Award nominations from across the state. We ended up selecting 8 angels that represented each of the regions across Louisiana. And the $30,000 is because if you are selected as an angel, it comes with a $30,000 grant award to the nonprofit organization of each angel. So pretty exciting stuff. And that's why the nomination process is a little bit more rigorous, because we're really looking for angels across the state who are doing great things on behalf of kids. So in terms of what we hope you walk away with from today's webinar, 1, identifying key steps in the Angel Award nomination process. 2, we're going to analyze that exemplar Angel Award nomination. And then 3, we hope that you leave with some more confidence in the nomination submission process. The purpose of the Angel Awards is to honor everyday people doing extraordinary good to meet the physical, emotional, creative, or spiritual needs of Louisiana's kids. We've been doing this since 1995 at the Louisiana Blue Foundation, and we've recognized more than 250 of these outstanding individuals. So we're hoping that your nomination makes it through the cut and represents the 2026 Angel Award class. So let's talk through who's eligible for the Angel Award, just so everyone's clear on this. Nominees for the Angel Award must be individuals. So it can't be an organization or a group of people. It's one individual, no animals, no deceased individuals, must be alive and currently working in Louisiana for Louisiana's children. They can be volunteers, they can be organizational staff members, they can be paid for their work, but we're really looking for angels that go above and beyond their job responsibilities and really serve as an example of what's possible for folks who are working on behalf of children. In terms of scoring, so once nominations are submitted, they are reviewed by what we call wings, and these are a group of former Angel Award winners. So those 250 angels from the past that we chatted through, those are the folks that are going to be reviewing the nominations and scoring them based on a set of criteria. So you have this in the chat, and you will also have this in the webinar resource material. So you can have a clear vision of what the nomination is being scored on. And what you see on your screen is a breakdown of each of the categories, how many points they're scored out of, for a total of 100. And so if we zoom in, these are the selection criteria. So, and these are reflected in your nomination form application. So first is the need. So we're looking to see, is this person meeting a really important need in their community, and how do you know? Commitment and problem solving, How is this person demonstrating leadership, creating new approaches, and solving problems, addressing that need for kids? Influence and impact. So we're looking for any data or concrete results that the nominee's work has had on children that they are serving. How they involve others, how are they building community to help those outcomes for children. And then lastly, their why. What is the history of the nominee, their character that motivates them to do this work? So in your nominations, we're looking to see this come to life, and they're scored again based on these selection criteria. And just a note, if you have questions, feel free to drop them in the chat. A couple helpful resources that are coming your way in the chat and in the resource materials. So one, we have the Angel Award nomination form in Word form. So before you go to the form online, you can draft it in Word, work out all your kinks, and then copy and paste it into the online submission. You have a copy of the scoring criteria so you can know what the judges are looking for. You'll have today's presentation and materials, and then check out the online resources that we have available for you. So you can go online to our website, the Louisiana Blue Foundation, and click the Angel Award on the top of your screen. And that will take you to everything you need to know about the Angel Awards. So we have a database that has an option that you can filter by year, by the types of work, by region. So you can do a little digging and see who's gotten the award before in your region and your focus area work, and learn a little bit more about those folks. You can also click on the other 2025 Angels or go to angelawardla.com. You can meet our most recent class of Angel Award winners. And if you go to there, you can look at their videos to see and learn about the work that they're doing in their communities, just to give you a better understanding and idea of the types of folks that are selected as angels. So I highly encourage you to utilize all of these resources and do a little bit of homework before you go ahead and tackle your Angel Award nomination form. So I want to start at, begin with the end in mind, right? So when we're looking for our Angel Award winners, we, at the end, those who are selected, we create a video to be shown at the Angel Award Gala, the event in which we honor these angels. We also create these videos in hopes that we can just spread the good work that they're doing across the state. So it's really helpful to the organizations that they work with for exposure, to help them raise more money. So our nominator reviewers are really looking to get a feel of what this video would look like from the nomination form. And so I want to take a second and look at one of our angels, and we're going to walk through the process from her video, which is the end product, to how it started with this angel's nomination form. So let's meet Dawn Stanfield. She's one of our 2025 angels. We're going to check out her video that we created as a result of her strong nomination form. And as you look at the video, think about these three questions. What did you learn from the video about Dawn and her work? How did it make you feel? And why? Why did it make you feel that way? We'll circle back and chat through these questions after we take a look at the 2025 angel, Dawn Stanfield.
I got started being an advocate for individuals with disability 21 years ago. My late daughter had autism, and 20 years ago we didn't have services. I have moved her from one school to another because the other school had a better service that they could provide. I have had to pay out of pocket for therapies and all of these things. When she passed away, it was, these kids still need me. It's part of who I am. It's part of my everyday life, and it's part of what makes me feel like other parents aren't going to have to go through what I went through. Good job. Good job. My name is Dawn Stanfield. I am the Special Ed Coordinator and Program Director for the Academy of Collaborative Education. ACE is one of 10 schools in the entire nation that are public charter schools for kids with autism. We were co-founded by a mom whose child had autism and a speech therapist who realized that her kid wasn't going to get what they needed educationally.
The need for a school like ACE in this area in Northeast Louisiana is great. ACE is in its first year, and we started with 93 students, K through 5, and next year we will grow to 6th grade, and we will be at 126 students next year. We meet them where they are. We meet them at their need, but we are able to scaffold them to an education just like other kids in a small setting.
Cheese. Harlem, she's a very unpredictable child. I didn't get answers where I was. I felt hopeless. I was promised that they had a self-contained class. They did not. She was in a classroom full of 28 kids, and she was under the table. I immediately snatched her out of there, and at that point I was at limbo. I'm just scrolling on Facebook and I see ACE. It became a home away from home. You feel comfortable at home, you feel relaxed at home. I felt that here.
ACE has given me the hope that Ava will be able to find her place. She's just allowed to be her at ACE. And that's the best part. These children, these students are allowed to be who they are. I feel like this is personal for Dawn. It's not just a job for her. It's everything to her. She genuinely cares about these children, and she wants to see them succeed in life.
Dawn is an angel. Dawn is the most humble person I've ever seen. So not only is she an angel, she's my angel.
It's not an angel! It's so hard!
I don't ever do anything for any kind of recognition. It's about these kids, it's about my staff. And it just makes me realize that 21 years ago, this little girl taught me how to be different. Okay, there. These kids reminding me of her is the joy of it. I'll never get my child back. I grieve that, but I have so many other kids that I have impacted. I have so many other kids that I'm able to be a part of their day and to make them feel loved. And I think that is my power. That is why I keep doing it, is because I can come to school every day and see the changes in these kids.
All right, so that's Dawn, and that's the vision, really. So this is the end product. And so as the reviewers look at each nomination form, the nomination form is the first draft of the video. They're looking to be able to visualize who this person is, the work that they do, and the impact that they're making. And so we really hope that what you learn from the video is what Dawn does and why she does it, the need that she's solving for kids with autism in her community. We hope that viewers feel inspired, informed, and a little bit emotional. And we hope that, you know and understand the difference she is making. And so this is what we try to achieve with the videos that are produced. And again, the first draft is the nomination form. So nominators, we encourage you to help the reviewers visualize your angel and learn more about the work they do, help it come to life. And so let's talk about the start of how this video and how Dawn became an angel through her nomination form, which was really, really strong. So we're going to take a look at Dawn's nomination, which we consider to be an exemplar nomination. As you look at the nomination form, think about, what do you learn from her nomination? How do you learn it? How do you feel when you read it? Why? And can you see how this came alive in the video? So you have the nomination exemplar form in the chat. You also have it in the presentation resources. And I'm going to walk you through a couple of the questions so that you can start to see what your potential nomination form could look like. So one of the first questions that you will address in your nomination form is a quick summary. This is just a few short sentences that describe your angel, the person that you're nominating. And basically, you can think of it as like their elevator pitch for why this person stands out above the rest. And honestly, this is an exemplar for Dawn. You can see here right away, you're captivated. There's a clear hook. So Dawn Stanfield is no doubt a daredevil and a whimsical kid at heart. In her personal life, whether she's dressing in costumes for 5K fundraisers or advocating for special needs students, she's a voice for kids because in a good way, she still is one. She's a believer of why not, and we can do this. And through the many hardships she has faced, she credits her sense of playfulness from her late daughter, Kristen, who is instilling in her a childhood wonder and fearlessness that anything is possible. So captivating, this is a quick elevator pitch of like, let me help you visualize who Dawn is. I can see her out there dressing in costumes, for fundraisers, etc. You can just kind of start to get a feel of her spirit. So you want to use this. This is the first question. So this is the first opportunity for reviewers to really get to know who your angel is. So I would really strongly suggest that you make this question really stand out. The other question on the nomination form that I want to highlight the importance of is the need question. So you're going to be able to address what need does the person you're nominating meet for Louisiana's children, and how is the significance of the need measured? So one thing I want to highlight in Dawn's nomination form is her nominator used clear data points to illustrate the need. So again, think of it like your reviewers for the nomination form, they might not be well versed in the work that this person is doing or the focus area or the need. So your job as a nominator is to really give them an insight into the work, into the data that shows the need for the community and for the state of the children in the communities that you serve. So right here, you can see clear data points. 1 in 36 children in the US have autism. 13.5% of parents in Louisiana reported their child had experienced an unmet healthcare needs. So right away, you get a clear picture that this is a group of children that are not being served in the best way possible. And so the nominator goes on to describe how Dawn is working to meet that need. But again, the really important piece here for this question is, can you give some data? Can you help your reviewer really understand what the children's needs are for this particular focus area? The other question that you'll address is their influence on outcomes. So how is the work that this angel nominee doing improving the lives of kids in measurable and meaningful ways? And so I want to highlight a couple things in this exemplar that really stand out. So one thing that this nominator wrote was, every morning you will find Dawn standing at the entrance of the school, greeting each student. Over the last year, she's seen these students go from greeting her to greeting each other as well in the hallways in the classroom. She goes on to give data points. Now teachers are saying 73% of the students grew to now greet their classmates and staff. And with autistic children, challenging moments like this are huge victories thanks to Dawn's efforts. So again, here we really can visualize Dawn doing these things. There's data to support the impact that she's having. So when you're thinking about your angel, try to find those stories, try to help the reviewers visualize the work that they're doing on a daily basis so they can say, hey, this is what we could go out and film and show to highlight the impact that they're having. One really important question on the nomination form is the question about their why. Why do you believe the nominee does this work? Do they have a personal connection? Who inspired them? This is your opportunity to really help the reviewers get inside their heads, get inside their hearts, and to why they do this work. And this is a crucial piece that always makes it into the video for our Angel Award winners. And so if you look at Dawn, something that stands out is her daughter. So there was a point the nominator really emphasized about Dawn reevaluating her purpose in life. A parent pleaded with her one day to never stop advocating for other Kirstens, like her daughter. And it was then that she knew that this would always be her why. Instead of choosing to close the door to a world of helping special needs students, she has used her experience to help other families, parents, and children. So you can get a clear sense of Dawn's heart from how this nominator is describing her why. So that's what we're looking for. Help us figure out their heart, why they do their work, add that personal connection, really help tell their story. So let's transition to your nomination form. And you can access the nomination form at labluefoundation.org/nominate. You'll also have that in your resources from this webinar and in the chat. So your nomination form looks like this. And you have this in Word form as well in case you want to work as you go. The first part is the angel nominee contact information. So not yours, but the angel that you're nominating. So you're going to put the angel's information in the first couple of sections. So all about the angel. And then the section 3 is about the angel's nonprofit. So the angel needs to be volunteering or supporting or serving in some capacity for a nonprofit. So you'll put the nonprofit's name and a brief. You can get this from the nonprofit's website, their mission statement. So that's really the first part of the nomination form. And then you're going to talk about, that's where you're going to put the quick summary. Who is this angel and what makes them stand out? And you can use Dawn's that we just discussed as an exemplar to kind of get a good idea. Remember, this is the first thing the reviewers are going to read about your angel, so you really want to make that stand out. The next question focuses on the geographical region that your angel serves in. So this is what part of Louisiana do they do most of their work. And we understand that some do statewide. So pick the region of the state that they mostly serve, that the majority of their work is serving. So the nomination form, again, really sets the stage for their video if they are selected. And your reviewers are trying to read these nominations. And remember, there's probably more than 200 that come in each year. So you want to really make sure that they're able to visualize this angel and the work that they're doing through your nomination form. So there's 2 questions that help get at that. There's a storytelling snapshot. So telling a moment or a story that illustrates their impact. This could be a powerful interaction with a child or a family. So really think of a moment that shows their heart and their leadership. These don't have to be super long either. If the content is there and you get your point across, the shorter the better, but really the story is what makes the difference. And then a visual snapshot. So again, you saw Dawn's video, you know the end product. If we were to spend a day with this nominee, what will we see? What will be going on in their lives? How do they show up and serve the children in the community? And I see a question in the chat, and we're going to address this when we get to the helpful tips section. But you might not know all this. You might just know this person does great work. So there might be a little bit of homework that you need to do before you submit your nomination. And that might be looking at the organization's annual report to get that data, talking or interviewing your angel or a staff member that works closely with an angel. They have they probably do this on a daily, so they probably have lots of stories that you can learn and include in your nomination form. So it might just take a couple of conversations with either the angel that you're nominating or a staff member or somebody that works closely with them. Number 8, the need question is really important. So this is where you're going to want to pull some sort of data that highlights the need that your angel is addressing. So what are they doing? Why are they doing it? What's the need? And how are they measuring how is the significance of the need measured? And you can use, AI to help you do some research there. Again, interviews with angels or their staff members is a great place to get that information as well. Commitment, so learning about giving a little bit of their history. What's their journey been like to do this work? And again, this kind of speaks to the need. There are a lot of questions on this nomination form, and some of them are a little repetitive. Keep in mind that we need a lot of information because, one, there's a lot of people being nominated, so we're really trying to find people that stand out. And two, this is a grant. It comes with $30,000 grant, so it's like a mini grant application. So again, it's pretty competitive, and so that's why we need to get a good sense. My feedback to you all and suggestion is pick a couple, like the need question, the why question, and really zoom in on those to really tell the story of the impact your angel is making through examples of work that they're doing with kids. The more you can weave in children and the work that they're doing on a daily basis with them and examples, the better your application or your nomination is going to be. Stories and data are just really key to making your nomination stand out. These three questions address that. Again, maybe you don't spend a lot of time on all three of them. Maybe pick one or two and explain more through stories or data around how they problem solve, the outcomes or the results or impact that they're having. So the more you can use numbers or data points here, the stronger your application is going to be. And here we have the questions that get to the why, the personal motivation. Why are they doing this work? What's their personal connection? And a testimonial from a child, parent, or community member would be really, really powerful to add there as well. At the end of the nomination form, that's where you're going to put your information. So really important to note that the beginning of the application is all about your angel that you're nominating. The end of the application is where you're going to put your contact information as a nominator. And the reason is because in case we have follow-up questions, or in the case that your angel makes it as a finalist, we want to be able to reach out to you and learn more and help get a full picture before we move to final selections. So your information goes at the end of the nominator form. And let's get to some helpful tips. So how do I do this? How do I tell their story? How do I get those data points? Again, ask your angel. You know, I know sometimes we want this to be a surprise, but they'll just be flattered that you're thinking of them, and they might be excited to help tell their story from a different angle. So you can ask your angel. You can ask staff members that they work with, volunteers that they work with, folks that you might have known that have benefited from their services. And ask them those questions. Treat it as like a little mini interview to help. You can look at their websites for the organization that they work for. Oftentimes you can ask for their annual report or it's posted on their website. This will give you some impact data that you can weave into your nomination form to really share their story and their impact using real data. And then AI is your friend. So my suggestion to you all is get the facts out there, get the general gist of your story. Don't worry about grammar or proper, punctuation. That's not what the reviewers are looking for. They're not looking for how well written this is. They're looking for, does their story come off the page? Can you get a sense of who this person is and the work that they're doing from what's written on the paper? And so if you want to get the basic facts and figures and stories out there in a draft, you can always plug it into an AI source like ChatGPT or Copilot and say, hey, can you help edit this? If you're worried about grammar or punctuation. But again, that's not really a big part of the scoring criteria. It's, does their story come alive from the page? And so now I want to open it up to questions that you all might have about the process or anything that we covered. And I'll go ahead and get us started. I see a couple of questions in the chat. We talked about where to find the data, any resources there. There's another question from the chat. What if the angel is doing work with multiple nonprofits? Do they choose which nonprofit they want to give the award to? The answer is yes. So we often have angels that work for multiple nonprofits, and once selected, they get to pick the nonprofit that they would like to donate the $30,000 to. But my suggestion is to really help the strongest nominations that we've seen come through really focus on a central nonprofit, a central kind of work lane that the angel works in, because then you get more stories about that. You get more data points around that. So having a strong central focus to show the difference that they're making can really help your nomination form stand out. Great question. When is the submission deadline? The submission deadline is January 20th. So January 20th is when everything is due. We will notify everyone, if you as the nominator, if they are selected as a finalist by April. We'll announce all of the Angel finalists will be announced in September of next year. And our annual Angel Award Gala, where we honor and show the videos, will be next October. So this is kind of the timeline in terms of what is next. So January 20th, work to get those in. Other questions from the audience, feel free to put those in the chat. There will also be a place on your feedback form to list any lingering questions that you might have, or questions that come up once you look at the exemplar and the sample materials in more detail. Okay, I'm not seeing any more questions in the chat. Oh, wait, here come a few more. Is there an age limit if someone is working with special needs individuals? In terms of the angels, there isn't an age limit for angels. In terms of the populations that they're working with, we do focus on children. So up to the age of 18. Now, clearly, if they do work with the adult population, you can include that. But again, the award is designed for folks that really work with Louisiana's children. And then what if the angel is working on another nonprofit until the nonprofit becomes operational? We'll be able to use this award. Yes, so at the end of the day, the angels get to select the nonprofit. The only requirement that we have is that the nonprofit is in good standing with the Secretary of State, and they are a 501c3. So they can select which nonprofit they donate their $30,000 award money to. Fun fact in the chat, our youngest angel was 17, so there's no age limit on our angels. Okay, as I go through these next couple slides, if you do have additional questions, feel free to put them on the chat, or you can include them in your feedback survey. But in terms of how to get started, you can go to labluefoundation.org/nominate to look at that nomination form. Start figuring out a process to collect data and stories from the nonprofit staff or participants or the angel nominee themselves. So you might want to schedule a call just to briefly kind of go through some of these key questions with the focus of, let me get a story of a kid that they've served, a kid that they've helped, and let me understand their why a little bit more. If you start the process and you have any questions or need any help or want us to look at anything, feel free to email us at angel.award@lablue.com. We are happy to help you with this process, and we're just excited that you're taking the time to really help us find those 2026 angels that are doing some really great things for kids. Are private foundations that are 501c3 eligible? Yes, so any 501c3 is eligible. That is the only stipulation for where the $30,000 goes towards. Okay. In terms of next steps, we talked about the timeline. The nominations are due by January 20th. We will notify you as the nominator if they are selected as a finalist by April, and we'll announce all the angels next September. That is all the content that we have for you during this webinar. You have plenty of resources that are coming your way. Take a look at them, watch some videos, maybe even reach out to a former Angel Award winner to kind of pick their brain about the process. If you have any questions, you can put them in this survey form that is on your screen. The link is also in the chat. We just love your feedback of what you found to be the most helpful and how we can make future sessions like this even better. We want to make sure that we're addressing all of your questions so this process is easy and impactful for you as the nominator as well. But we appreciate you all taking time out to attend. Thank you for thinking of these angels and the great work that they're doing, and reach out if you have any questions. I'm going to hang back for a little. We'll end the recording, but if you have additional questions, feel free to stay online. Thank you all.